So we're looking at how to handle objections like a rock star. And if you have an organization with a sales team, a technical team, with everything in place, and nobody sells anything, guess what? No money comes into the organization, nobody is paid, nothing happens. You see, when you see somebody who says, I don't like to sell, show me somebody who says, I don't like to sell, and I will show you a poor man. Show me someone who says, I don't like selling, and I will show you a poor man. If you see all the wealthy people in the world, all of them, as in 100% of them, they all sell. Microsoft sells, Apple sells, Facebook sells, they all sell, because the money that they need is not in their pocket. The money they need is in the pocket of other people. And unless they sell, they can't make money. They can't live the good life. They cannot give their family the good life. So nothing happens until a sale is made. So if you don't know how to sell, start learning how to sell today. Start learning. Watch trainings, watch videos, practice out. And in the course of selling, something is going to happen. You are going to meet people who are going to object. They're going to object to your selling. They're going to raise concerns. Let's call them concerns. You must be able to handle those concerns. If you can handle the concerns of people, guess what? You can sell to them. And the more you sell, the more money you can make. So today I'll be showing you how you can handle objections like a rock star. And these are objections that people, bring up in the course of doing business every day. People bring up these objections, but you must be able to handle them. You see, I use the word handle, not overcoming. There's some people that tell you they're going to show you how to overcome objections. No, you don't overcome them. You handle them. You handle them. And that is what makes you a consultant. Now, let us examine the concept of the consultant for once. A consultant is somebody who helps you figure out a solution to a problem you have. His job is to help you figure out the solution, offer you the solution. And in most cases, you pay him to help you figure out the solution. And if he figures out the solution for you, it is left to you to implement the solution. If you say you're not going to implement the solution offered to you by the consultant, your problem does not become the consultant's problem. Your problem still remains your problem. The consultant is going to go home, relax with a big bowl of pepper soup, have a very nice time, but you are still the one with your problem. So you see, our job is to function as consultants. We are cash flow consultants. We are, consultants of the good life. We help people to be able to access the good life. And believe it or not everybody is interested in the good life. Everybody loves the concept of wanting the good life, but not everybody is interested in the concept of the good life. So when you present to them what they need to do to get the good life, a lot of people will back out. They shy away. They don't want to go for that because they know they are not worthy of it. For you to be able to do your business, create results in your business, have people join your business, you must tackle objections as they come. You can't just shy away from them. You want to run a presentation, the moment you are done with the presentation, everybody is paying. No, that is not how life works. People will bring up reasons why they cannot join the business, why they cannot start the business now. And it's your job as a consultant to nudge them strongly. Nudge them strongly. I use the word nudge strongly. Now, nudge is supposed to be something soft, but I fall short of using the word push. Sometimes I use the word push. You nudge them strongly towards taking a stand. And the stand is to be or not to be. Nudge them. Don't leave people standing on the fence. Don't leave them hanging there. That's what most people do. For most people, all we do is we just inform our prospects of what we have. And we leave them standing on the wall. And they are there on the wall. You didn't nudge them on your side. Guess what? Some other person will see them on that wall and pull them to their own side. You want to be able to extract commitments from your prospect. Now, that they have made the commitments does not mean they will see the commitment. Many people will tell you they're going to join your business, they're going to give their commitment, they're going to give their word, but they will still not follow through. But at least do your part and nudge them in the right direction, right? Extract commitments from them. Listen to what I'm going to show you now. You will be paid in direct proportion in this business to your ability to force out decisions from your prospects. What did I say? You will be paid in direct proportion to your ability to force out decisions from your prospects. I want that to sink into you very, very well, right? People who don't recruit because they are waiting for prospects to fall on their laps. You're waiting for people to just say, you know what, I want to join. That is what you're waiting for. And this is how mediocres do their business. They show the business and they wait for the people to tell them, I'm going to sign up. Not you. You should be a professional. They don't push to force out decisions from their prospects. They only inform their prospect of their opportunity and expect the prospect to like the opportunity and join. That is what many people do. And that is why many people don't create functional results for themselves in this business. Because what you're doing is that you're waiting for your prospect to say, you know what, I like that thing, I want to join. People are indecisive. It's as simple as that. Nudge them hard and they will take a stand. Nudge them hard and they will do what? They will take a stand. They will take a stand. If you don't nudge them, they won't take a stand, right? Your money is in their pockets. Don't be too casual in asking for it. That's what I'll tell you. So you have your money in the pocket of prospects. And instead of nudging them hard to bring out the money, you are there taking it so easy, taking it so casual with them. Remember, casualness leads towards casualty, right? So this line, I would really want you to screenshot this, because if you look at this and decide you are no longer going to be casual, remember, you will be paid in direct proportion to your ability to force out decisions from your prospects. And what we're going to do today is to show you how you can begin to force out decisions from your prospects. So let's examine some steps on handling objections, some preambles, some things you need to know about handling objections before you now go in to start handling the objections on your own, right? Now, one of the things is this: make sure the prospect you understand his objection by rephrasing the objection back to him in a question, right? Very, very important. You want to rephrase the objection. So if the person tells you, I don't have time, you want to rephrase it back to him in a question. You want to say something like this: Mr. Prospect, what you are telling me right now is that you don't have the time to use this business as a channel to attain your dream life. Is that correct? It's a question I asked him. Mr. Prospect, he tells me I don't have time, right? And I say, Mr. Prospect, what you are telling me now is that you don't have the time to use this business as a vehicle towards attaining the dream life. Is that correct? Right? So if the prospect brings up an objection, rephrase that objection back to him in a question, because he needs to know that you understand his problem. I don't have money. Mr. Prospect, what you are telling me now, I need to understand you clearly, right? Is this, that you don't have the money to chase your dream through this business. Is that correct? You might also ask him, Mr. Prospect, when you say you don't have the money for this business, to chase your dreams through this business, how do you mean? How do you mean? Remember what Eric Worre said: all business is conversation. All business is conversation. Your job is to initiate the conversation and keep the conversation going, right? So you have to find ways of rephrasing the objections back to the prospect in a question. Also, you want to ask yourself this: is this objection real? Is it real? The answer is no. Always ask yourself, what are they really saying? When you understand what they're really saying, it will help you to be able to address the objection. Never be confrontational in any form, right? So you need to understand this. Is the objection real? As a consultant, that is the first thing to determine. If you determine the objection as not being real, then you can nudge him to see it as not being real. Relate to his objection. Tell stories as concerns the objection. Now, this is where you're now beginning to handle the objection. Tell stories as concerns the objections and ask great questions. Let your stories help them without embarrassing them. Imagine he says, I don't have the money to start the business. You tell him a story. Mr. Prospect, you say you don't have the money to start the business, right? Now, you can tell him, okay, can I share a story with you? If you have your own story, you can share your own story. But if you don't have your story, you can share the story of other people. Can I share a story with you? There's this lady in our team somewhere in Enugu. She saw a presentation like this, and she had no money to join the business. She had only 1,000 naira in her bank account. Do you know what she did? She downloaded recharge card of 1,000 naira. She wrote down 30 names of people, and she started calling the 30 of them right there in the hall to give her 2,000 naira. And she kept on doing that. Before she was done, she had made 66,000 naira from people. Some gave her 1, 2, 3 different amounts, but she made 66,000 naira. She removed 49,990 and got started in the business, and then deposited the rest part payment. Today, that lady makes over 300,000 naira in monthly income. So you can see that it is not about the resources, but about how resourceful one can be, right? So you see, that is a story I just told. You can look for stories and rephrase stories around, the objections, the popular objections, some of which you're going to see here today, right? So I'm going to address all the popular objections, but you want to create stories around them. Now, even if you don't have stories or don't know a story, you can tell the prospect, can we examine this? Let us examine this scenario. Now, when you say, let us examine this scenario, it gives you the capacity, gives you the right to create a story, that will help the prospect see a pathway towards handling his problem. And you won't be lying. And of course, you didn't tell somebody's story. You only made up a story. So you see, let us examine this scenario, right? You say you don't have money. Let us examine this scenario. What if you are able to get the contact of 3 apps? These apps that lend money to. What if you're able to get the contact of 3 apps? Or let's examine somebody. Let's call this guy John, right? John doesn't have the money to join the business. And John said, you know what? I want to join this business because I really believe this business can change my life, right? So what John decides to do now is this. He said, I am going to go to 3 apps and I'm going to collect 20,000 naira from each of the 3 apps. 20, 20, 20, making it 60,000 naira. I'm going to negotiate for probably a 3-month payment plan on each of those apps. And with the 60,000 naira, I'm going to take 50,000 naira to start this business. And I'm going to take 10,000 naira to load my phone and run my business very hard. And the first 20,000 naira I get from the business, I pay off one of the apps. The second one, I pay the second app. The third one, I pay the third app. And I'm going to do my best over the next 30 days to raise 60,000 naira to settle these apps so that I don't get embarrassed. Mr. Prospect, would you consider this gentleman to be smart and forward-thinking? You see, I only told him a story. I created a story. I used a mythical guy, probably John, right? And I created a story around John. And as I was selling the story to him, I was telling him the story of John, selling the possibility of him doing the same thing to John. So you have to learn to tell stories. Become a great storyteller in the business. That is how you handle objection, right? And also remember, ask great questions. Use the feel, felt, found mode of Eric Warren. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. But let me tell you what I found out. John, I know how you feel when you say you don't have money. I felt the same way because when I started this business, I had no money. I was owing over 4 million naira in debt. But let me tell you what I found. I found out that if I don't do something about my cashlessness, if I don't do something to create cash flow for myself, I will continue to be in debt. I will continue to be embarrassed. I will continue to have money problems. I will still not be able to take care of my family and take care of myself, and I will still be under a lot of pressure. Guys, you know what I did? I decided to take the bull by the horn. I looked for an app. I was able to borrow 50,000 naira from that app and got started. I was able to call 5 of my friends, and I got 5 of my friends to each give me 10,000 naira, right? I was going to pay them 15,000 naira, and I got started, right? I went to my parents. I told them, can I get a loan of 50,000 naira? I will pay 60,000 naira within the next 3 months. You know, whatever you want to use there, use it there. Create something that relates to you. If it relates to you, tell your own story. If it don't relate to you, if you don't have any story, tell somebody's story. I know how you feel, right? Now, John, I want to tell you something about my friend Tunde, right? When Tunde saw this business, guess what? He had no money to join the business. I know how Tunde felt around that time because he really wanted to do this. I could see it on his face. He had no money to do it. But you know what? Tunde decided to find a way. He found a way to raise the money. He found a way of doing multiple things, bringing money from different places, you know, all with one focus to start the business. And today, Tunde is living the good life. Use the feel, felt, found method by Eric Warren when you want to handle objections. I'm giving you different strategies that you're going to have to put together. Maintain your consultant posture. In handling objections, your posture is the most powerful tool. If the posture is not right, every other thing is not going to work, right? Now, what is your posture? Your posture is very, very simple. I am the consultant. All I'm doing is offering you gold. If you take this gold, it is going to be good for you. If you don't take it, the ball is in your court. Hey, consultant, don't be pushy. Our job in this business is to educate the ignorant. When you make a presentation, you continue educating them by handling objections professionally, right? you handle the objections professionally. Now, when I said don't be pushy, it doesn't mean you're not going to push people into making a decision, right? You want to get them to take a stand, but you're not going to be there to shove the thing down their throats. Your job is to handle their objections and call them to take action based on the objection you have handled, right? So you can address his objection with a complex question directed at the prospect. The question must never make him look stupid, but must induce a pain or a gain to maybe make him move from his comfort zone, right? And after doing that, you have to ask if his objections are addressed. Now, at the beginning, I told you something like this. When the guy said, I don't have money, you say, Mr. Prospect, what you are trying to say right now is that you don't have the money to sign up into this business and use this business as a tool to accessing the good life that you truly desire. Is that what you are saying? It becomes a complex question, right? I rephrased it back to him. But I didn't just ask him, oh, are you trying to say you don't have money? I said, no. I said, what you are telling me when you say you don't have money is that you don't have the money to use this business as the tool to accessing the good life that you are truly worthy of. Is that what you're saying? I'm trying to induce a pain or a gain into him to move him from his comfort zone, right? So I want us to have that down. Also ask if his objections are addressed after you've done the addressing, right? And if yes, you invite him to give our business a try. Give it a try. We call that the invitation close, right? Always respond in a calm and steady voice and look into the eyes of the prospect as you speak. Now, if you're that person, when you look into the eyes of the prospect, you are in control of the conversation. But you see, you can be looking into the eyes of somebody I'm talking and the person also looking into your eyes. And at times it might get awkward. For most people, what you want to do, instead of looking eyeball to eyeball, if you cannot handle that, just look here, his forehead, right? Look at his forehead. As you're looking at his forehead, guess what? You are staring there, looking at the bridge, his nose and the eyes. You're looking at the nose bridge. You're not looking at his eyes, but if he's looking at you, it will be as if you are looking at his eyes. But you're not looking at his eyes, you're looking at his forehead or the bridge slightly above the nose. And guess what's going to happen? You will be in control. You will not feel awkward. You will be in control of the conversation, right? Always ask prospects to tell you their story when they have a negative objection. I can't do this business. I can't do this business. It's not my thing. Tell me your story. Can you share your network marketing story with me? Let them tell you their story. When they tell you their story, they are going to evidently tell you how you can sell them, right? Your job is to help the blind see and not to convince them by twisting their hand. Your job is to help them see. But if it has to take a miracle for you to make them see, make them see. That is your job, not to convince them by twisting their arms. In the course of handling their objections, handle the objections and call them to make the sign-up decision. You don't handle the objection and you let them walk away. Make sure you ask them after every instance of handling an objection to get started. And I'll show you how. Let them know from time to time that you are there to help them make a decision that will benefit them and not to convince them at all. So as you speak to the prospect, you want to let them know, my job here is to help you go through to make a decision that is going to benefit and not to convince you. We're not here to convince people. We're here to answer their objections. We're here to educate people and give them the enough information they need to make that decision to join this business and access, right? These are some questions you might want to be able to ask. Can I ask you a couple of questions? Whatever the person's name is, can I ask you a couple of questions, John? Note the questions. Now, you must not ask all these questions. You might pick what you want to ask, but these questions are very, very powerful. What is your most important selfish goal you have? What is the most important selfish goal you have right now? Asking him, what is the most important selfish goal you have? Why selfish? Because when you ask some people what their goal is, they'll tell you they want to help the poor, they want to build a town hall different from Balablu in their village. They want to do whatever they want to do. They begin to go so lofty. Bring them back. You, personally, what is your most important selfish goal? You want to know that goal. Is it to send your kids to a good school? Is it to put yourself in a better house? Is it to make money and give yourself? What's your selfish goal? Ask the question. When would you like to achieve that goal? When would you like to achieve that goal? So the guy says, you know what? I want to drive a BMW X5. Question 2. When would you like to achieve that goal? Ask him the question. You're a consultant. Consultants ask questions. When you go see a doctor, the doctor does not see you, sit you down and bring out his pad and start writing 10 chloroquine, 20 fancy that, this one, that one, all over the place. No, he doesn't do that. They will sit you down, they will ask you questions. They examine you, they ask you questions before they come to any conclusion. So that's what a consultant does. So learn to ask questions, right? So what is your most important selfish goal? These questions come in a string. Can I ask you a couple of questions, Philip? He said, yes. What is your most important selfish goal? What is the most important selfish goal you have? He says it. When would you like to achieve that goal, right? He says it. What are you willing to do to get it? What are you willing to do to get it, right? That's what are you willing to sacrifice to get that goal you are looking for, right? What are you willing to sacrifice to get it? So you are going to sacrifice my time, my energy, my money, blah, 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 whatever they say they're going to sacrifice. Now you ask them, with what you are currently doing full time, do you see yourself achieving all your money dependent dreams in the next 5 years? Be a consultant. With what you're currently doing right now, doing full time, do you see yourself achieving all your money dependent dreams in the next 5 years? And for most people, the answer is going to be no, right? No. If the person tells you yes, you might want to ask him, for how long have you had these dreams? And some of them might say in the last 3 years, 5 years. You look at them and you say, for the last 3 years, 5 years, you haven't been able to achieve this dream. What makes you so confident that with what you're currently doing right now, you can achieve these dreams in the next 3 to 5 years? Be a consultant. Act like one. You must be calm. What are you willing to sacrifice for your dreams to come through? Time, money, pleasure. What are you willing to sacrifice? You want to ask him. You want that dream to come through? What are you willing to sacrifice? Nothing, something must give, right? Something must give. You must give something to get something. So what sacrifice are you willing to make in terms of time, in terms of money, in terms of pleasure? Because the fact is, if you are not attaining your dreams currently, you are not attaining your dream because you are not sacrificing for your dreams. There are people here who say you want to start making $1 million money from this business, and you're not making $1 million money from the business. You are not making $1 million money from the business because you are not sacrificing for $1 million money. You're not putting in the time. You're not putting in your money to make your money work for you. You're not putting in the effort. You're not sacrificing your pleasure. You want to make $1 million monthly, $2 million monthly, $500,000 monthly, yet you want to go clubbing every night. You want to still sit down and relax, watch TV, listen to music, dance around, do everything you do without sacrifice. You want your pleasure 100%, and yet you want the dream life. You must pay now to play later. If you play now, you'll pay later. So if you want those dreams to come through, you must sacrifice. I'm showing you how to be a consultant, right? So let's examine some types of objections you're going to face. I've already given you the steps, the initial processes you are going to take, right? Now I want you to how to handle these objections. And by the way, there's something I didn't include here. The words of Matt Morris. Do you want to do this business? Always start from those lines. Do you want to do this business? Do you really want to do this? Or is your objection a polite way of saying you are not interested? Then you handle it, right? So I don't have time. I don't have time. When you are faced with the objection, I don't have time. How do you handle the I don't have time objection? You may want to say something like this. Mr. Tunde, when you say you don't have time, how do you mean? When you say you don't have time, how do you mean? It tells you I don't have time, I'm busy, I am at work, I am this, I am that, I am that. You want to let him finish. Never speak when your prospect is speaking. When he's done speaking, what do you say next? Mr. Tunde, what you are telling me now is that you don't have the time to use this business as a tool towards attaining the dream life that you are truly worthy of. Is that what you're saying? Say, no, I'm not saying that, blah, blah, blah. It's just that I don't have the time, blah, blah, blah. What do you say next? In the words of Matt Morris, Mr. Tunde, do you want to do this business? He says yes. Do you really want to do this business? Or is just saying I don't have time a polite way of saying you don't want to do the business? Because either way, we're okay with it. I don't have the time. No, it's not that I want to do the business, but I don't have the time, blah, 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 blah. What do you do next? How would you like to never say that? How would you like to never use time as an excuse, right? You can go ahead. Juliet or Tunde, whatever his name is. In a day, there are 24 hours. If you spend 8 hours at work, I didn't tamper with your 8 hours, your working hours, 8 hours. You spend 8 hours sleeping. That means you slept for 8 hours, you worked for 8 hours. These are the most basic things people do. You still have 8 hours left, Juliet, to chase your dream. Will you agree with me, Juliet, that it's really not about having time, but about setting out time from your free time to build your dreams? Will you agree with me? Be a consultant. This should be a topic of conversation. Okay, how do you expand the conversation? Okay, Tunde or Juliet, whatever the person's name is. Now, let's assume you work very hard. You work for 10 hours every day, right? And then you sleep 8 hours every day. The doctor said we should sleep 8 hours in a day. I know most people don't sleep 8 hours. I mean, if you're sleeping 8 hours, what are you doing? That's 1/3 of your life. If you sleep 8 hours a day, you sleep for 1/3 of your life, right? So you sleep 8 hours, you work for 10 hours, that is 18 hours. You still have what, 6 hours left to chase your dream. Let's say you pray very hard. You pray for 2 hours every day, and you spend 2 hours on traffic every day. That leaves you with 2 hours to chase your dreams. So you see, Juliet, let's be sincere to ourselves. Let's tell ourselves the fact is, it is about making the time and not having the time. We all have the time, but if you decide to make the time for your financial freedom, you can still access it, right? Next, you want to close him down. Juliet, if I could show you our 6 months plan to increasing your cash flow by 300% without interfering with your current job and with just 1 hour per day of your time, would you be interested in taking a look? It's a very powerful question. Would you? Remember that from Eric Warren. If I could show you our 6 months plan to increasing your cash flow by 300% without interfering with your current job and with just 1 hour per day, would you be interested? He says, yes, I'll be interested. Now, what some people do is that the moment after they've said this, they are now asking the person to come and pay. No, that's not how it's done. You said, if I could show you. You said, if I do my own part, would you do your own part, right? Some people, after saying this, something like this, they go straight up to ask people to pay. That's not right. So do your own part. If I could show you our 6 months plan to increase your cash flow by 300%, we don't want to put a figure because you don't know what the person's dream is. The man could be doing 1 million naira a month. You can't tell him by increasing by adding another 500,000. No, the man wants to increase his income. So 300% means he can move to 3 million naira without interfering with your current job. You make it very clear, without interfering with your current job, with your current business, and with just 1 hour per day of your time. Would you be interested in taking it? What does the guy say? Yes, I'll be interested. I'm interested in it. What do you do next? Very simple. You bring out our standard method of operation checklist, the SMO checklist. You show him how we can do this with him over the next 5 weeks. He sees that we are going to be the ones doing most of the things with him. In week 1, we're going to do this with you, this. In week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. At the end of 5 weeks, you would have gotten 5 people to connect to your business through this system. The moment any one of them connects, we are doing the same thing with him to generate his own 5. The moment that person connects, we're doing the same thing with him to generate their own 5. At the end of 6, look at what your business is. What are you going to show him next? Next, you're going to show him our 6 months cash flow plan. I will show you that at the end of this program. Our 6 months cash flow plan, you're going to show him. So he sees the SMO checklist, which is the activity. He sees they're not difficult to do. And then he sees the cash flow available to him with 6 within 6. He sees the cash flow available to him at 50% success. He sees the cash flow available to him at 20% success. Then it is at that point you can now invite him to get started by simply saying, it's a prospect. You said, if I can show you a 6 months plan to increasing your cash flow, your income by 300% without interfering with your current job, and with just 1 hour of your time every day, you'll be interested in taking a second look. I have shown you this. This is how it works. Why don't you get started right away? Or you might ask him, what are the next steps we need to take towards getting you started right away? Immediately you say that, you bring the interest form, you are putting his name on the interest form, you are filling out the interest form, you are asking which of the packages will you get to get started right away. You take the package, you begin to, as you do what we call the assumptive close. You assume that this person is already in. Let him be the one to interrupt you and say, no, I'm not ready to get started right now. Then it means there's another objection you need to handle, right? So like I said, all you need to do is to become a consultant. From all I've said, you need to study it. And then with that, you learn how to handle the time. What people need to understand is that nobody has the time. But when they break down the 24 hours for them and they see it, and you are only asking for 1 hour daily, they can produce that 1 hour daily, right? Yes, not everybody is going to flow like this way. Not everybody is going to do it. Not everybody is going to, some people will claim they never have any time left. The truth is this, most people have the time for any other thing, but they are not going to put the time to run the business. They have the time for Telemundo and Z-World, the time for Arsenal and Manu, the time for Nkobi and Isiewu. Your job is to extract 1 hour from their free time. So sit down with them and examine how their day looks like, their typical day looks like, and then extract 1 hour and get them to make the commitment to put in the activity in that 1 hour over the next 6 months and build their business. That is how you handle the I don't have time professionally. When somebody tells you I don't have money, what do you say? Remember what we said initially. You want to rephrase the objection back in a question. Mr. John, when you say you don't have the money, how do you mean? I don't have money means I don't have money now. It means I don't have the money to join the business, blah, blah, blah. Whatever he says. You want to rephrase it, Mr. John, or Mr. Tunde, or Mr. Prospect. Mr. Prospect, what you are telling me now, I'm trying to get, get my head around it. You are saying you don't have the money to start up this business, which is proven to give you the good life that you are truly worthy of. Am I correct? Is that what you're saying? So you're not putting it like that, but then the truth is I don't have any money to start the business. You see me here, I don't have shishi, blah, 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 right? Whatever he says, the next step, Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? Say, yes, I want to do the business, but I don't have money to do the business. Mr. Prospect, do you really want to do this business? Or is your saying, I don't have money, a polite way of saying you're not in? He says, I don't have the money now. That's the only thing. Just I don't have the money to do the business. Fine, that's fine. It's all right. No pressure, right? Then you move. Mr. Prospect, let's say I'm your brother and I drop unconscious. And the doctor tells you that if you don't produce 50,000 naira for my surgery within 24 hours, I will die. Mr. Prospect, will you let me die? Let the prospect answer. Says, no, I will not let you die, blah, 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 blah. Why won't you let me die? And because you're my brother now, say, no, that's not the correct answer. Why would you let me die? Say, because blood is thicker than water. No, that's not the correct answer. Why will you let me die? Whatever he says, you ask him. Okay, before you ask him that, you want to ask him, what will you do to save me? Right? When he tells you he will not let you die, ask him, what will you do to save me? He'll tell you, I'm going to run around, I'm going to borrow, I'm going to do this to raise the money. Say, great. So why would you let me die? Because you're my brother, because of this? I tell them that's not the correct answer. The correct answer is urgency, because the situation is urgent. If the doctor has told you that within 6 years, I will die in 6 years' time, if I don't do the surgery in 6 years, will you be in a hurry to look for 50,000 naira now? The answer is no. You won't be in a hurry because you have the time. But now you have been given 24 hours, it means you don't have the time. You are going to move heaven and earth to make sure I survive, right? The watchword there is what? Urgency. The truth is this: most people don't declare a state of emergency on their bank account. They are casual with their bank account balance. So they're not bothered. They have been going through cash flow challenges for the last 5-10 years. They are used to their money problem. Their money problem is used to them. When you speak to your prospect, use the term most people. Don't finger him and say he's the one. You generalize it, most people, right? So if you declare a state of emergency on your bank account, just like you will do when you see that I will need 24 hours, you will need to raise the money in 24 hours, you will raise the money. If you can raise the money for my surgery, you can raise the money for the business. It is all about making a decision to get the money. It's all about making a decision to get the money, right? Now, before you go to conclude, your job as a consultant is to help him see solutions, not just speak lofty English and you disappear. Help him see solutions. What are possible solutions that you can offer him, Mr. Prospect? Now, there are so many ways you can start the business, but don't start thinking about the bigger packages now that you don't have money. Let's look at the smallest package. The smallest package is 49,999 naira. Let's call it 50,000 naira. That's the smallest package. You can actually borrow 10,000 naira from 5 of your friends, making 50,000 naira. You can borrow 20,000 naira from 2 people, 10,000 naira from 1 person, making 50,000 naira. You can borrow 25,000 naira from 2 people, making 50,000 naira. I'm showing you options. You can look for 3 apps that lend money to people, and you collect 20, 20, 20 from each of those apps, making 60,000 naira and get started. It's a business. Now, some people might say, I don't like to borrow money. I don't want to borrow money to blah, blah, blah. I don't like borrowing money. No. Poor men borrow money to spend on themselves. Rich men borrow money to do business, right? You are borrowing the money to set up a cash flow stream that will pay you way more than 60,000 naira. So why not go in and collect the money and use that to start the business, put 50,000 naira into the business, put 10,000 naira airtime into your phone, and make the calls. Do your business like your life dependent on it. And guess what? You will be able to start business and create the result that you truly desire. So, Mr. Prospect, if I could show you our 6 months plan to increasing your cash flow by 300% over the next couple of months, would you be ready to get started? He says yes. When he says yes, what do? You bring out the SMO checklist, you show him our 6 months plan again, you do with him. When you do this, you call him to pay right away. So, Mr. Prospect, based on all the information you've gathered, what is the next step towards getting you started right away? You bring out the interest form, you write his name on the interest form, you start filling everywhere, you ask him which of the packages you would like to start right away, tick the package, you are assuming the close. You're not going to sit down there and you're waiting for him to tell you what to do. You assume the close and you go for the kill, right? Next, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody. How do you handle it? Still follow the initial parts I mentioned. When you say I don't know anybody, how do you mean? Let him explain what he meant by I don't know anybody, right? So, Mr. Prospect, what you are telling me right now is that you don't know anybody that we can show this most beautiful and amazing business that is designed to give you the dream life that you are truly worthy of. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Prospect? He said yes or no, whatever you want to say. Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? Yes, I want to do the business. Because you want to know whether you want to do the business so you're not wasting your time. Do you really want to do your business? Or is your saying you don't know anybody a polite way of saying you are not interested in the business? Because either way, we are okay with it. He said, no, I want to do the business, blah, 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 blah. What do you do next? Mr. Prospect, if I could show you that you really have more people to easily talk to than you realize, would you like to hear a little bit more? The guy says, yes. What do? You ask him to bring his phone, right? Let's sit down together and write down the people you interact with in the course of your day. I think you'll be surprised, right? Who are the people in your offices? Let's write them down. Open up your phone. Let's write your phone contacts from A to Z, right? So you start writing down the phone contact with him. Your job is to help him see from a different light, because most people are coming into this thing with a blocked mindset, with a fixed mindset, and fixed mindset don't get people anywhere. You want to help them open up their minds so that they are able to function as consultants, right? You are able to function as a consultant, open their mind to see possibilities. By the time you finish writing the people he knows, you go into his name list, you write, say, guess what? We've already done 50 people. These are 50 human beings you know. If you know 50, we can still get more, right? So once you do that, guess what? Can now begin to ask him to make a commitment. If I can show you how to never run out of people to talk to, would you be ready to get started right away? Because that's his own problem. His own problem is that he doesn't know anybody. If I can show you how to never run out of people, would you be ready to get started right away? The guy says yes. What do? You show him. How do you show him? Now we have written out 50 names from your phone, right? These are the people I think you know. Now, there are other ways. We can invite these people to come and take a look at this business. They will come. Some of them will join the business, some will not join the business. But for everyone who joins and everyone who is interested, we can get them to give us 50 names. How does that sound? They give us 50 names, that these 50 people now become your prospects. We are talking to the 50 people with you. Each of those ones coming can also generate 50 more from people they know. You are practically never going to run out of prospects. But guess what? We still have what we call the questionnaires. They are simple questions, about 12 questions on a paper, on a piece of paper, that you can share to friends, you can share to people, you can share wherever you go to, even if you don't know them. People pick the questionnaires, they fill up the questionnaires, and you collect them, bring them back. And we're going to call them because they will indicate, their names will be there, they will indicate. We're going to be asking them if they're open-minded to do a business or something. And people who are positive, who give us positive responses, guess what? We invite them, they come in, we show them the business. So you can see that even though you feel you don't know people, we have ways that you can never run out of prospects and build your business. So, Mr. Prospect, have you seen that it is possible that you can never run out of people to talk to, even though you don't know anybody right now? The guy says, yeah. So remember you said that if I can show you how to never run out of people to talk to, you will be ready to get started right away. Guess what? I've done my own part. So what is the next step towards getting you started right away? Bring out the interest forms, start filling. Write his name, write whatever you want you to write, fill it up, assume, right? These are objections that people get. You still get another objection called my hands are full. My hands are full. I can't free my hands. I can't do anything else. My hands are full. How do you handle the objections? Still follow those initial sequence I mentioned. When you say your hands are full, how do you mean? The guy answers, Mr. Prospect. So what I understand from what you're telling me is that even though you know that this business has all it takes to give you the dream life, you cannot do it now because your hands are full. Is that what you're saying? You say that. The guy says yes, or whatever it is he wants to say, right? Then you proceed. How would you like to free up your hands and still make twice what you make? How would you like that? How would you like to free up your hands and still make twice as much as what you're making currently with full hands? If I could show you our 6 months plan to increasing your cash flow by 300% by simply leveraging on other people, will you give it a try right? We're leveraging on other people. It's okay, what is it all about? Tell him to bring out his name list. We can write out your name list of 50 people from your phone. These are people you don't know. We write out their names, 50, 100, 150, whatever it is. These are people you know, rather, right? We write out their names. And guess what? We can sit down and help you make some of the calls, right? And whenever we can put together, you can be able to put together free time for yourself. You can join us and make some calls for yourself. And we invite these people. These people are going to come in. Some will join the business, some will not join the business. Some of those who join the business are free, have free time for themselves. Some are going to do it full time, some are going to do it part time. But guess what? We are going to work with them. You leveraging on them. As we work with them, they do the business, you also make money. So you mustn't be the one sitting down doing the business full time. If we leverage with you and work on your name list, we can be able to get people who are going to come in, sign up into the system, and guess what's going to happen as they do their business, you continue to make money, right? So you've done that. You asked Mr. Prospect, you will agree with me that this is a functional solution that can help you run this business, access extra cash flow, and live the dream life, right? You will agree with me. I want you to have that phrase down somewhere. You will agree with me. You want to enforce agreement on people. You want to enforce those agreements on them. You will agree with me that this business is designed to give you a good life. You will agree with me that if you put in 2 hours into this business every day, over the next 6 months, you can begin to do an extra 500,000 a month. You will agree with me that if you can make out some time for this business over the next 6 months, you can build leverage income for yourself. You will agree with me. Find a way of introducing that vocabulary, that phrase in your regular close down and follow-up strategy. You will agree with me. Write it down somewhere. You will agree with me. Write it down. There are many phrases you'll be hearing as I speak. Many of them are not documented, right? These are phrases that have come as a result of doing this business and creating an experience over the years. So you want to have them down and you want to use them in the course of your conversation. Find a place of fixing those languages, right? Those phrases, so that you can be able to produce more results for you. So I want you to pay attention. Pay attention. Because for many people, all you are doing is you are begging people to come and sign up, come and sign up, come and sign up, come and sign up. You can't win. When you are desperate, people will see right through it. So another one that we normally get, I want to speak with my spouse. How do you handle the objection? I want to speak with my spouse. You want to still follow the same sequence. I want to speak with Mr. Prospect. When you say you want to speak with your spouse, how do you mean? How do you mean? Say, yes, I want to speak with my spouse. Normally, my family, we cannot take a decision unless we sit down together and we make a decision, blah, 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 blah. When it's done, you say, okay, that's fine. So what you are saying is this, because I need to understand you clearly, that even though you have seen that this business is designed to give you and your spouse the dream life that you require, you cannot make the decision to sign up into this business and get the dream life and begin to access the dream life unless you have the permission of your spouse, the permission of your husband, the permission of your wife. Am I correct? You guys say yes, or no, it's not like that. It's not like I can't do it on my own, but whatever the person says, that's fine. Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this? You need to say that because you want to, you want to be speaking to somebody who is interested in the business. You don't want to be speaking to a hater of network marketing. Haters will always hate. That's their job, right? So, do you want to do this business? Yes, I want to do the business. Do you really want to do this business? Or is your decision to speak with your spouse a polite way of saying you're not interested? Because either way, we're okay with it. Say, no, I want to do the business, but I need to speak with my spouse, blah, 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 blah. You continue. Mr. Prospect, can I ask you a hypothetical question, right? And I need your sincere answer. Does this business make sense? Does this business make sense? You can say, yes, it makes a lot of sense, blah, 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 blah. You continue. If you receive a call to be the GM, the general manager of Dangote Group, and your salary is going to be 50 million naira monthly, and they need your answer there and then on the phone, will you ask to go home and to ask your spouse for permission to take the offer? Or will you take the offer first and share the good news with your spouse later? Remember, I said you have to find a way of asking questions that will induce pain or gain, right? These are the questions. If you receive a call to become the GM of Dangote Group, a salary of 50 million naira monthly, and they said they need your answer there and then on the phone, will you ask to go home first and ask your spouse for permission to take the offer? Or will you take the offer first and share the good news with your spouse later? What will you do? What will you do? Right? It is important you understand that they don't know how to run the business. Listen carefully. This is for you. This is not what you're telling them. It is important you understand that this is what you are telling them. It's important you understand that you don't know how to run the business. Speaking to your spouse or anyone on an issue you know absolutely nothing about can never work in your favor. Most times they will be the ones to talk you out of this beautiful opportunity. You want to make them understand this. So this is what we are going to do. Please write this phrase down. This is what we are going to do. I'm giving you some core phrases, right? This is what we are going to do. Now, even though he's the one that's going to do most of the stuff, your own stuff you're going to do there, it might be limited. Guess what? Use the phrase we. For you to win in this business, you must have to talk about we and not about I. You will invite your spouse. You are giving them an instruction now. You will invite your spouse to one of our meetings and let us do the talking on your behalf professionally. What day would you like to schedule for that? Schedule it there and then. What day would you like to schedule for that? Let us do the talking. Now, it is possible he will tell you that he cannot fix the time now. You want to speak with you will have to contact the spouse to fix the time, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. But let him know that it is not in his place to speak to the spouse. Remember that the prophet is not accepted in his own home, right? So we need to be the one to speak on your spouse, to your spouse on your behalf. But if you get home now and your spouse is still insistent they want to know about it, you can show them our video. Let them watch our presentation video. Play it for them. Let them watch, right? And then when they are done watching, you can call us to answer their questions. But at least don't be the one talking about it, right? So if you need somebody if you miss somebody who wants to speak to their spouse first, guess what? You cannot be asking the person, I want to show you this. If I can show you this, will you do this? Can show you this? Will you do this? No, that is a challenge. That is the objection. Handle it. Handle it. And handling it means you should be the one to show the prospect, the spouse of this prospect, the opportunity, right?